Welcome back once again here to another Johnny Torch live broadcast, number 132. We're on Torch News Roundup number 120. Yes, that's right. We haven't done a Torch News Roundup in a while. I think this is the first one of the year, isn't it? No, maybe it's the second. But either way you look at it, we haven't done one in quite a while. There hasn't been a whole lot of news. Hasn't been a whole lot of news to cover, really, to be honest with you. We did do a broadcast last week. We covered the Aquaman movie, a very late review on my part. Heaven knows the rest of the world had already seen it at that point. Aquaman doing very, very well for himself, crossing the $1 billion mark so far. And I recommend that you check out my review. If you haven't seen the movie, of course, that's a spoiler review, so I definitely recommend you checking out the movie first. And I thought it was great, just, for a spoiler-free review. You can check out the first few minutes of that video, but I would say it ranks up there. I mean, it's about even with Wonder Woman. James Wan really did a great job of capturing the comic book essence, and you could tell that from the trailers. He really didn't back off. He didn't shy away from anything. The costumes look like the costumes from the comics. He deserves a lot of credit. He packed a lot into a, reasonably length movie. I wouldn't say it was a short movie, but there were so many things at play. It was kind of amazing that he actually were able to play to all the subplots and characters as well as he did. And I thought it was that's a good question on what was the best movie of 2018, of the past year, regarding superheroes and so forth. I have yet to do that video. I really need to do that video, but I've been working on my comic, as you well know. You could check out the link in the description below for my website, The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Comics, to give you more information about that. A brief update here. We are inking the sixth issue even as we speak. It's just about done being inked, as a matter of fact. I've just got to go over it one more time before getting it printed up, getting it reduced so I could scan it into the computer and start coloring. So this one should not take very long to get out. I know the last issue, issue 5, which you see the cover on the screen right here now, that took me quite a while, over a year. But with the advances I've made in my equipment, I've got my own printer. I've got my own computer with touchscreen capabilities now. It's a lot easier to get these issues out in a timely manner. So I'm hoping that this one, issue 6, will be out in time for convention season, which usually kicks off around May or so on, something like that. But by late spring, early summer, I'm hoping this next issue will come out. And of course, if you haven't checked out any of my comics as of yet, you could find that link in the description below. And on my website, you'll find a free preview, a 3-page preview of issue number 5, 1 bourbon, 1 scotch, and 1 Miller, where the evil Carrot Top and Pencil Neck have teamed up with another nefarious baddie named Sour Note to threaten the very capital of the United States in their nefarious plot to take over the country and the world. The world is not enough. And in that vein, also, Bullets has been pressed into service as a secret agent. So even though he's Bullets Bourbon Private Eye, in this particular story arc, he is Bullets Bourbon Secret Agent, which is something I probably could have worked into the title. That would have been cool if I thought of it before now. Also, check the link in the description below while I give myself other ideas for my Twitter page, where you can find out lots of more updates and fun goings on in my Bullets Bourbon Adventure series. And yeah, and while we're doing the shameless plugs, of course, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit that like button. Hit the bell for notifications, which I don't really know if that even works, because a lot of people are saying that it doesn't work like it's supposed to anyway. But this is bound to be a very long broadcast because, like I said, we haven't done a news update in a while. So there's a lot of stories that have been sort of being sat on here for a couple of weeks. Some of these might be a little old news to you, but we are going to take them one by one. Now, the most interesting story, I think, and hopefully I don't lose my voice like I was during the Aquaman video near the end of it there. I was really having trouble. But let's start. Let's go straight. Let's not save this one to the end. As you can see, the title of this video is Disney's Spider-Man Done Broke Me. So, you know, my reaction to the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer is going to be colorful, to say the least. Let's just start with the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. We were waiting on this one for a long time. They sort of promised it during the week when they did Captain Marvel and Avengers Endgame, but they supposedly didn't want to take any steam off of both of those movies. So they waited a couple of weeks. All right, so now we got the Far From Home trailer, and I got some screenshots here set up for us, which is always a problematic thing because it takes me like a little while to get these images up. So here we are. We start the trailer with Hot Aunt May. We still got Hot Aunt May and Spider-Man doing some kind of fundraiser. Oh my gosh, this is just what I wanted to see in a Spider-Man movie. Can you beat that? Isn't this what you wanted to see in a Spider-Man movie? We got Hot Aunt May, which I guess that's her new thing now, where she's an advocate for the homeless. I never knew that until I started playing Spider-Man 4, the Spider-Man, the PS4 game. But I guess that's her day job now because, sitting home making wheat cakes isn't enough really for Aunt May. She's got to get out and do something. So that's what we got. We've got Hot Aunt May once again. And let's see, that's not enough. Let's see, we've got Happy Hogan, which I really like. I'm a big fan of Happy Hogan. I'm a big fan of Jon Favreau. He's back. And apparently they're teasing a relationship between him and Aunt May because isn't that what we all wanted to see? We wanted to see Hot Aunt May in a relationship with Happy Hogan. This is already getting off to a roaring start, and I'm just so thrilled already with this trailer. But again, before we get too far, this is the problem. The problem is they don't seem to appreciate the character of Spider-Man. They don't understand. He is supposed to be the consummate loner. He is the loner superhero that doesn't get the respect of the crowd, the population. He's got Aunt May now as sort of his PR person. Is that what we're doing now? How did we get this far? How did we get this far, Disney? What are you doing to me? Deep breaths. But yeah, apparently now Spider-Man's the public hero and the face of New York, and gee, I don't know. We still don't know for sure if this is. I don't think it's been confirmed that this takes place after Endgame. This might just be a prequel to Infinity War. I don't know. We don't know because we see Nick Fury, so we know he's back, and obviously Peter dissolved in Infinity War, but we still don't really know. I don't think when this film takes place. All right, let's move on now to the heart of the story here. We got some cool things to see in this trailer. No doubt about it. Peter's going on a trip. We get the sandwich store guy back. Oh boy, isn't that thrilling? We got him back, but we don't have J. Jonah Jameson yet. It's a fair trade-off, right? That's what you want to see, don't you? You want to see immigrant store guy instead of J. Jonah Jameson. Well, you got him. And Peter's going off to, I guess, England. Is that way? Jolly old England, because I think we see London Bridge in the trailer a little further on. Let's see. And he's packing, and yes, he doesn't know whether he should take the Spider-Man long johns because why would he need to be Spider-Man in England? England is just a bastion of safety and justice and no offense, guys, but let's be honest. I mean, the UK isn't exactly the epicenter of world peace and harmony at this moment. But yeah, he doesn't take the Spider-Man suit, which is an excuse for him to get a bunch of upgraded suits, which I hate. I think Spider-Man should just keep the one suit. I don't think he's the kind of character. It's kind of like Batman when he's constantly got a new suit in. Actually, in the movies, they don't even do that as much as like the toys. And I'm not trying to suggest that this is a way to sell toys because I think that's kind of a cop out. I mean, the toys and the movies are like two different things. They're going to make the toys whether they make it in the movie or not. I mean, the Batman movies, like I said, they really had a minimum of changes to the costume, but they still had 45,000 different versions of Batman and the Batman suit. And in some cases it makes sense. In some cases it don't. I don't think Spider-Man should be a guy that has a lot of costumes. I saved this picture because honestly, I've got the same PJ bottoms that he's wearing in this shot. He shops where I shop, I guess. Pretty cool, Peter. Very nice. I'm not wearing them right now, as a matter of fact, but I found that interesting. Tom Holland wearing the same stuff that your boy is wearing. Okay, and Tom Holland, I'll give it to him. I like the kid. I think he's great as Peter Parker. I think he's great as Spider-Man. It's just they haven't given him a movie worthy of him. I mean, I kind of felt the opposite about um, Andrew Garfield and those Spider-Man movies. To be totally honest with you, and everybody that's ever watched a video or follows me on Twitter knows I'm not a big fan of Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man. I like this kid. I like Tom Holland. I just don't see this movie that he's in being, something worthy of his performance. I think, it's tough to say Andrew Garfield had a better movie. He was like a bad actor in a good movie, and Tom is a good actor in a bad movie. I don't want to say that, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel like Spider-Man's world, and I just feel bad for the guy. I just feel bad that they haven't really given him a Spider-Man movie yet that kind of reflects what he's all about, the character. All right, let me see. Let me get another image up here. Oh man, I don't know if I can survive. All right, this is a great image though. This actually reminded me a lot of Raimi's Spider-Man. You got that kind of New York City look there. You got the cranes in the background, all that stuff. So the web swing and stuff's gonna be cool. That's the original, the original Stark costume, not the original costume. From when he was wearing like a sweatsuit. But yeah, that's really cool. I like that. And so they're going off to England or whatever it is. I don't know if it's just going to be just England. Maybe it's all across Europe. And we have Ned. Ned's back. Oh, Ned. Sweet, sweet Ned. What are you doing in my Spider-Man movie, Ned? Again, it's nothing against the actor. I've got nothing against him. I mean, he's a sweet kid, I'm sure, and, a fine actor. I don't want Ned in my Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man is not a character with a sidekick. I don't know how I can stress this enough. And yeah, you can see on the right over there, it says ASM 212. That I heard is an in joke. I think that's the first issue Hydro Man was in. And yeah, that's kind of tipping the viewer right here that later on in this trailer that is actually Hydro Man, which I'm sure we all recognized. But anyhow, I guess that's, what is that, Betty Brant. And I think in the comics, Ned and Betty became an item. I guess maybe that's what they're hinting at too here as well. She looks like Gwen Stacy, of course. Another strange departure from the source material. Again, I Spider-Man's a loner. I don't want to see him with a sidekick. So again, no offense to Ned or Ned fans, but that also dropped the stock in the trailer about 50% for me. Let's see. Okay, and oh, this is another thing that dropped it. Let's see. We got, MJ's back. Oh, isn't that wonderful? MJ's back, and she's still just as weird and flaky as. All right, maybe not as weird, but I can't stand this version of MJ. This is not Mary Jane, obviously, because she's Michelle, but this is not someone that I want to see Peter Parker with. And we're gonna have another whole movie of them exploring this romance that I don't give a whit for. I don't care about. This is not, you know, man, this is exasperating me. That's why I say this Disney Spider-Man done broke me. I don't know. They just don't seem to get the concept of Spider-Man, and they certainly didn't get the concept of MJ. This is not the MJ of the comics. This is not even nearly close to that. Again, I don't have anything against Zendaya or Zendaya. You say Zendaya, I say Zendaya. But my sister actually used to really enjoy her show, Casey Undercover, I think it was called, on the Disney Channel. Again, it was a Disney show, and you can kind of see the same similarities from Disney products, productions in this movie, in the Spider-Man franchise, the Disney Spider-Man franchise. And they're not shy about that either. And it just feels out of place to me. So I mean, again, it's nothing against Zendaya. It's the character does not fit in the Spider-Man world. I don't see how they could possibly even turn it around at this point that I'm going to like this MJ character. Again, if you know me, you know I don't like race changing characters. I don't like having the characters look different than they did in the comics. So again, we don't have a flaming redhead as an MJ, which is also a big problem. But still, I don't see how this character can possibly reflect someone that we're going to root for Peter to get, and pursue through this whole film, I don't get it. I don't get it. All right, we're gonna get to some positives here in a minute. Don't worry about it. It's better that I vent all these frustrations early on here, but we'll get to some of the cool stuff. All right. First off, before we get to the cool stuff, this scene already made me hit the roof as well. We've got, it looks like a Disney, all the Disney shows, just pick any of them that are on Disney Channel, and you always got that one vacation episode where they go to a cabin or, some exotic location and, they get stranded or some crap happens to the family or whatever. This is what it feels like right here. It feels like they're going to go to the Happiness Hotel. They're at the Happiness Hotel, and it's going to be hijinks ensue. And I don't know. It's just I can just see the writing on the wall that this is not going to be, you know, in my ballpark for a Spider-Man movie. Again, I think if they wanted to make this, because I know they're trying to base this on like a teen comedy of the 80s, like a John Hughes movie. There's a way of doing that without feeling like you're taking the entire Spider-Man universe out of it and just putting Peter Parker in a Disney-fied sitcom. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a way of doing it. I mean, they do it with all their other movies. You got Captain America: Winter Soldier. It's based on sort of a political thriller with Captain America. Ant-Man is a high-tech heist movie with Ant-Man as a superhero and this and that. I don't really see how you can fit Spider-Man into like a John Hughes thing. It doesn't fit the same way, because then again we get the ugly duckling thing with Michelle, and we've got the goofy sidekick with Ned, and it doesn't fit into Spider-Man's universe. Spider-Man's the ultimate loner. And again, that's just the pits. Okay, so let's get to something. This, of course, is going to be one of the highlights of the trailer for me. We've got everybody's favorite guy, Nick Fury. Yep, that's right. Give it up for Samuel L. Jackson. This is when the trailer started turning for me a little bit, to turn the corner. And I loved seeing this interaction with him and Spider-Man and, Peter Parker. And, this is a combination that I think will really work well, because I honestly didn't really like the combination of Tony Stark and Peter. It felt too much like mentor and protege, something like that. This feels more like kind of, I don't know, like boss and employee type thing. I mean, I don't really feel like there's a personal relationship going on here. Nick Fury is only interested in one thing: getting the job done. And so he comes to Spider-Man, obviously, to get the job done. And he puts sweet Ned into a into a deep sleep, which, thank you, Nick. Thank you. We're all very grateful for that. All right, let's take a look here at some of the action scenes. This is where we see some of the coolness. I'm guessing that's supposed to be Sandman. I know, like I said earlier, we have Hydro Man. I think is pretty much a given in this film. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be Sandman. This could be just some kind of gimmick from Mysterio, because again, no spoilers here, Mysterio's the main villain. I also don't know if that is Maria Hill, because they're sort of well, they said Kobe Smulders is in the film. I don't know, she looks kind of blonde there in that light. I'm not sure if that's exactly Kobe. Of course, I'm a big Kobe fan, but still my heart. So hopefully that is her, and she has a big role in this film. That would make the kid very happy. All right, so again, I don't know, maybe Sandman. I think they're setting up the Sinister Six, which I'm not sure if they're going to hand that over to Sony. That'd be an interesting situation if that's what they do, because we know that they wanted to make a Sinister Six movie over in Sony. So here we go. This is very like Bondish. I kind of like this. I don't know. I mean, maybe I shouldn't, because I'm complaining so much about wanting it to be old school Spider-Man, but it's kind of Bondish, kind of noirish. Spider-Man kind of going undercover here with Nick in England. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, let's see. Then we got to look at the new costume, or this is one of the new costumes. I think there's two. I'm not sure. This is the black suit. Not black suit as in Venom black suit. This is the stealth suit. Stealth suit is what it should be called. Nick Fury in the background there too. I like the eyes. Don't you like the way the eyes look? That's really cool. That looks like classic Ramita Spider-Man with those eyes. That looks great. Again, I'm not a big fan of like Spider-Man having different costumes. I understand like Infinity War, he had to have the Iron Spider suit because kid's going in space, and spandex ain't really the thing you want to be wearing when you're clinging to the outside of a spaceship. So I kind of get it, but I mean that I don't know. I don't know if it's necessary to have him keep changing suits, unless you're gonna do the symbiote storyline, of course, which they're not doing. All right, let's see. Yeah, London Bridge is falling down, or I should say, burning down. That looks pretty cool. I love the webs under the arms. It looks like he's wearing the video game costume there with the white spider on the back. But I want to get a look at this. I like I always like the webs under his arms. I always thought that was a cool look. I guess it's not really necessary for him to wear them all the time, but when the situation calls for it, it's pretty cool. Okay, let's see. We also have. All right, let's take our first look here at. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, Hydro Man. I don't think we've seen him yet. This is the way Hydro Man looks. He's given a dousing to Peter on the bridge there. So that's pretty cool. I don't know how they're going to explain this. Like I said, I don't know if that's all Mysterio. Maybe that's sort of gimmicks that he's putting up. And here we go. Mysterio. Jake Gyllenhaal, baby. Look at that costume. I've been waiting for Mysterio. I've been waiting for Mysterio since the Raimi series. Since he was making the movies, I was hoping he was going to do Mysterio. This costume looks boss, I got to say. It looks awesome. And they got pretty much everything right. The cape, the purple cape. He's got the clasps on the cape. He's got the gauntlets. They don't show us a whole lot of him with the helmet head on, with the fishbowl head. If Spider-Man doesn't call him fishbowl head or something like that, missed opportunity. But yeah, he looks awesome. Jake Gyllenhaal. And I'm excited. I think that they're going to do justice by Mysterio. As you know, in the comics, in his original incarnation, he was like a fledgling hero. He was trying to put himself off as a hero or something. And then Jameson sort of tries to set him on Spider-Man, set him against Spider-Man. And of course, he turns out to be a villain. And Spider-Man's got to stop him. So I imagine that's going to have something to do with the storyline. Let's see. Here he is. I like this look too. You see the strange triangles with the eyes, that great Ditko design. That's what's on the clasps on his cape, but it's like part of his force powers or whatever he's using there. And yeah, he's the master of illusion. So it looks like they're going to get that right. They got him doing sort of like a Doctor Strange type thing. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I like the way that looks. All right, let's take a look at him with the fishbowl, because we still got to see that. That's the last one we got here. Let's get a close-up look at that. And here we go. Yep. It looks like he's doing battle with Hydro Man. And again, like I said, he's probably in cahoots with Hydro Man, but looks like he's got like, I don't know if it's maybe just the image or something. Looks like there's playing cards or something around his cape. I'm not sure if that's a hint of something. I don't know. Yeah, the fishbowl looks good. He's got the silver dome here, kind of like again. I hope the thing about Mysterio is I like the concept that he's mysterious. So I don't really want to see his face all the time. I I understand that this is what they do in the movies. They got him always showing their faces. Same thing with Spider-Man. They did that since the Raimi movies. But you kind of want him to be mysterious. His name is Mysterio. That means mysterious, and you're gonna show his face like right off the bat. I don't know. They don't like keep the suspense anymore. I mean, maybe if they showed it in the movie and not in the trailer. But then again, you want to sell Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio, so I get it. That's why I said. On Twitter, I said I really, really hope they don't get a name actor for Doctor Doom, because I want to see that sucker in the mask the whole movie. I mean, you can have a famous voice actor like James Earl Jones did Darth Vader. That's cool. Just don't show me his face like every 2 seconds like they did in the Tim Story movies and whatever else. I don't even really need an origin for Doctor Doom either. Just put him in the mask and like have Reed Richards talk about him, and that's it. You don't have to show me the origin or whatever. All right, so that's cool, and we wrap it up with, let's see, one more image. We've got this is the whole cast, crew, or whatever you want to call them, and I like this. I don't like this kid as Flash Thompson. Of course, they completely botched the Flash character, but I like this, that he's still a big Spider-Man fan. He's a Spider-Man supporter when everybody else is like, putting down Spider-Man. He's going to stick up for Spider-Man. And then we got the juvenile comment that I'm not going to repeat towards Peter Parker, and the sort of a wink to the audience. If only he knew his hero was Peter Parker, the guy that he's mortal enemies with. I like that stuff. I like that stuff. I like that Superman wink at the camera type stuff, where the character knows something that the rest of the cast don't know or something. That's really cool. So there you have it. That is our Spider-Man Far From Home analysis here of the trailer. And to sum it up, that's about it. That's all I can say. Yep, that's about the size of it. I don't know if that comes through on the audio, but yeah, I try to get the audio up there for you too. Disney, what are you doing to me with Spider-Man? That's all I can say. I mean, I was the most excited. I was one of those people out there said give Spider-Man back to Disney. I mean to Marvel, because Disney will know what to do with it more than Sony. But really, they haven't given me what I want with Spider-Man. They're giving me a Disney sitcom with Spider-Man as the main protagonist. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. I don't know who this appeals to. Maybe it appeals to the kids in the audience. Is that what they're trying to do? Maybe, but I don't know. You got to do better. Come on, either that or I'm going to start asking for Sony to get it back, because something's going on here that just ain't right. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. All right, let's move on to another story here, another storyline. We got the Ghostbusters 3 actually in the works. Now, I kind of was making light of this a couple of weeks ago when we did a video and we were talking about Ghostbusters 3, and Dan Aykroyd spilled the beans, and he was like, this is for real. This is for real this time. I know I've only said it for about 25 years running, but we're doing a Ghostbusters 3, kids. Yeah, that hasn't happened, Dan. I think you're smoking the wacky tobacco, but it's true. We got a little trailer, a teaser trailer. The trailer has the ectomobile in a, I don't know, farmhouse or something, and it looks like someone's testing a proton pack. And we got Elmer Bernstein's original music soundtrack in the background playing. Really, really cool stuff. And let's see, the report here is from Entertainment Weekly. Entertainment Weekly had broken the news. Director Jason Reitman, son of Ivan Reitman, the original director of the first 2 Ghostbusters films, will be continuing on the series in a direct sequel. He's quoted as saying, "I've always thought of myself as the first Ghostbusters fan when I was a 6-year-old visiting the set. I wanted to make a movie for all the other fans. This is the next chapter in the original franchise. It is not a reboot. What happened in the 80s happened in the 80s, and this is set in the present day." Let's see. Reitman penned the script in secret with Monster House and Poltergeist remake director Gil Keenan. Specific story details are still under wraps, but we know that the new team will consist of 4 teenagers, 2 male and 2 female. How do they know that? Is that speculation on their part? I hate when they speculate when they throw it into a story. But yeah, this sounds pretty cool if they're actually going to make it a sequel. That's what I've always said. Make it a direct sequel to, the original movies, and have Aykroyd involved, Ernie Hudson involved, and Bill Murray. If we can twist his arm hard enough, maybe to get a cameo out of Bill Murray, and just carry on as a direct sequel, as a next generation. That's the way you do these things. I didn't see the Ghostbusters 2016. By all accounts, I've heard it was horrible. It looked pretty horrible, to be totally honest. But yeah, I've been wanting a Ghostbusters 3 since, the end of Ghostbusters 2, basically. I go old school with the original films. The only thing I can see is that, without, of course, Harold Ramis, it's going to be, a little sad that we can't have Egon in the party. But, it's time to hand it off to a next generation. And the best way to do that is to have the original team present and involved in some capacity. And as I've said before, I've said my piece many times on what I think Ghostbusters 3 should be. I think you can find the video somewhere. I couldn't tell you the number right now. I got these numbered for a reason, but I don't remember which one I had my Ghostbusters 3 pitch. But yeah, basically they did something like this in the animated world, didn't they? They did in the 90s. I think it was late 90s. They had I think it was four Ghostbusters. Like, one was like Hispanic, one was in a wheelchair, one was a goth chick. I think The other one was black, I think. And they just, they carried on with Egon and Ray as the mentors. You can do the same thing here. Make Ray and Winston the mentors. Just carry on with a new generation. And if people take to it, then as you phase out the old crew, the old cast, the original cast, you know, you got a new franchise there that'll work. Okay, so that's cool. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you have any idea here what you want to see in a Ghostbusters 3, and if you think maybe Ghostbusters 3 is a good idea or not, because a lot of time has passed, but I still think they can do it. I think they can have a pretty interesting take if they try. All right, let's see. What do we got here? What's the next story? I'm trying to find it. Oh, of course, I didn't have this loaded up. All right, this is old news again, but I'm trying to cover some of the old news that I didn't cover at the beginning of the month. But the Batwoman series has been given the green light for a pilot for a prospective new series. David Nutter will serve as director for the Batwoman pilot, who has provided his directorial talents for CW shows such as Arrow, Flash, the pilots, of course, and it says he also did the pilot for Smallville. He also directed episodes of Roswell, Dark Angel, The X-Files, Millennium, Space Above and Beyond, Mantis. Wow, Mantis, that's old. That's old school. And the early 90s Superboy. Ah, that's very good. I didn't know that he directed those. That was pretty cool, though. I like those. Ruby Rose, yeah, as Batwoman. As I said in my Elseworlds, if you check out that Elseworlds review, I wasn't totally thrilled with the Batwoman character. I don't know. I don't really see how she can carry her own show. Maybe she can. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I really don't see it. But the interesting thing is the fact that they're giving her a show to begin with when wait a second. There's some technical difficulties here. Okay, wait a second. All right, yeah. So it's live broadcast, folks. It's a live broadcast. So yeah, let me know what you think about Batwoman getting her own show. As I said, you can check out my Elseworlds review to really get my take on Batwoman. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it here. I think they should give Batman his own show. I don't really see where Batwoman is. And to their credit, they didn't really hit you over the head with she was the first lesbian superhero to have her own show and this and that in the Elseworlds pilot. But I can only see this is going to be another SJW love fest like Supergirl and all the CW shows where they're got that SJW bent, that SJW leaning. I can't see this show really taking off and being that exciting, but we'll see. All right, here we go with our next story. Keeping in that line, in that realm, we've got the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix. We've heard a little bit about that, and kind of disheartening news. It says that, let's see, where's the story? Let's see. This may prove to be controversial, but it said that we can expect V for Vendetta style political undercurrents, while the movie will also feature some quote unquote pointed commentary on Donald Trump. Okay, so this is really exciting because I was looking forward to this film up until now. Now it's like, I don't know, we're going to have like that same kind of SJW stuff that we got in comics that they're forcing into the CW shows. Now we're going to have it on the big screen. This will be the first, official film where we're going to have that SJW commentary. A lot of people are worrying about it's going to be in Captain Marvel. I'd be less worried about Captain Marvel. I don't know. I always said I think that Spider-Man: Homecoming was the first real SJW step for Marvel on the big screen, and it's probably going to be the same thing with Far From Home. I don't know. I don't know if Captain Marvel is going to be that drastic of a departure. Because I think Kevin Feige's a smart guy. He's not going to try it. I mean, he knows Spider-Man's going to sell tickets no matter what. Captain Marvel is not going to sell if it gets bad word of mouth. And if they're going to start, SJWing it up, it's not gonna be a moneymaker. And he's a smart guy. I'm not going to put that on him. Let's see. On the plus side, this report mentions that it's very much like Taxi Driver meets King of Comedy, and there'll be plenty of surprises for comic book fans. I don't know. I was one that always questioned whether we needed a Joker origin movie to begin with. Not too sure that we do. Of course, I like King of Comedy. That's probably my favorite Scorsese movie. I'm not really a big fan of Scorsese, so that's, the jury's out on whether this is really gonna strike my fancy. But again, let me know what you think in the comments below. And what are you hoping for in a Joker movie? Are you gonna be put off by the political commentary, or are you into that sort of thing? Just let me know. All right, let's see. Here's an interesting one. Let's take a look at this. We've got American Chopper. They came back last year with, I believe it's an 11th season. They are going to be back on February 12th with a new season of American Chopper. Let's see. Discovery says while the Tuttles continue to work with world famous athletes, Forbes 100 businesses, and celebrity clients to evolve their businesses with the changing customized bike market, Paul Sr. takes a risk at Orange County Choppers as he moves his bike designs in a different direction. However, he also jumps at an opportunity to go back to his roots, designing a throwback line of affordable motorcycles. Paul Jr., meanwhile, builds a streamlined bike for the MLB network. The pair has taken steps to mend their once fractured relationship, said Discovery, and work together on restoring a 1951 Buick. American Chopper is produced by Pilgrim Media Group with Craig Pillman and Sam Caracas as executive producers for for Discovery Channel. Getting tongue tied. Okay, so yeah, that sounds like it's going to be pretty exciting. I've been watching these guys since the beginning, since what is it, 2002 when they started, and you've seen the ups and downs of the Tuttles and what's going on with them. But that's, it's cool that they mended fences, so to speak. That Senior and Junior are working together. We got Mikey back. Kind of sad that we don't have Rick and Vinny there anymore. They were the backbone of the show. The original show, the original concept of it. Loved seeing them work, and they were great. And I think Vinny said on an interview. I think I even reported this on one of my old broadcasts, but Vinny did say that he'd be open to working with Junior again if it was the right project and it worked, it fit into his schedule, because of course he's the owner of his own business, so he can't just drop off and start working with Junior for weeks on end. It'd have to make sense. And of course, Rick, he's also got his own business, so it's kind of sad you don't see the whole crew together. But we got the Tuttles, we got Mikey still involved in the show, because I think he was the first to leave, wasn't he? He was kind of the first one that kind of wanted to bow out, and then the show kind of, tottered along a little bit for a couple more. What was it, for like maybe 2 more seasons, and then it kind of ran out of gas. So, again, if you're a fan of the show, let me know what you think. Do you think that the best days of American Chopper are behind them, or are you still interested in seeing what sick bikes they can come up with next? Of course, Paul Jr. is a genius. I mean, Senior's talented as well. I'm not taking anything away from him, but some of the stuff that Junior comes up with is really, really exciting. All right, so let's take a look at. We've got the Masters of the Universe movie that is in development. It's been in development hell for quite a number of years, probably since the first movie came out in '87. So we're going on 30 years now. All right, let's see. David S. Goyer stepped down as director on Sony Pictures and Mattel's planned Masters of the Universe reboot, though he'll remain on as executive producer and screenwriter. It was announced that the project found a pair of replacements in the Nee brothers, Aaron and Adam Nee, who will get to work on the sci-fi fantasy adventure soon as it meets its December 18th, 2019 release date. That doesn't sound very, I don't think that's a very approachable date. I mean, you've got less than a year, you know what I mean? How are they going to do this now? I don't think they're going to be able to, get this film out in time. Even Ghostbusters 3, I didn't mention that's going to be out in 2020. That's a small window, especially with what you would expect to be an effects heavy film with ghosts and stuff. And the same thing with He-Man. I just imagine they're going to try to give us the comic accurate or the action figure accurate I hope accoutrements, such as the Wind Raider, the battering ram, and all that stuff. Battle Cat hopefully finally will be in live action. Orko, there's a lot of things that you could have in a He-Man movie that you should have, that you got to put the budget into it. You can't just cheap this out. And I hope they don't do the political correct crap with He-Man, where, as you can see here, Tila was even in the 1980s covered from from neck to toe because we couldn't have any little boys getting the wrong idea about Tila. You got to be attracted to He-Man if you're a little boy, and he's still allowed to go shirtless and flex his pecs as often as possible. But Tila, we can't objectify Tila. We can't have that dreaded male gaze for 9-year-olds in the audience. That's definitely a no-no. But let's see. Collider reports that the writers of the first Iron Man movie, Art Markham and Matt Holloway, have come aboard to pen a new draft of the script. The duo's other credits include Transformers: The Last Night and Punisher: Warzone. That's I don't know. Does that sound that sound promising? Transformers: Last Night and Punisher: Warzone. I haven't seen either of them, so I guess I can't say. I tried to watch Punisher Warzone, but that violence is just too much for me. That violence. Um, oh, let me see. I got somebody in the chat, so let me address this. Hunter Iggy says there are rumors going around that Booster Gold will have a small cameo in a Blue Beetle movie. Well, that's pretty cool. I know that they're talking about a Blue Beetle movie, but from what I understand, it's going to be the Jaime Reyes version. I don't know if it's going to be the Ted Kord version, because I know Ted Kord and Booster Gold have a history together, in the comics. I'm not sure if he's going to be in that one, but I was hoping for a Blue Beetle and Booster Gold TV show. I'd love to see that, especially. I don't know if CW would take it, but I think Sci-Fi had dibs on a Booster Gold show. That would be cool. But yeah, in either case, very interesting. All right, so let's see. Yeah, that's about all we have to say here about He-Man. I guess they got new writers, and that's pretty exciting. That hopefully this He-Man movie will get off the ground. I've been waiting for a long time for it as an old school He-Man fan, but I don't know if I can get my hopes up already with what we've seen here so far going on. All right, let's see. Also in the news, this is some pretty sad news because I think this pretty much signals the death of the Star Trek Kelvin universe. Now, it was reported a while back that Chris Hemsworth was going to return as George Kirk in a time travel adventure for the USS Enterprise for a Star Trek 4. And they already had deals in place for I think the principal cast and for Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pine also. And what happened was they ended up wanting to cut the budget, and Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth stood their ground with a firm no that they weren't going to, allow them to slash their actors' fees, and they would be able to walk away from this project because I guess even though they're under contract, the movie's not going to get made unless they agree to cut their actor fees, so to speak. And since they're unwilling to, Pine and Hemsworth have decided to walk off. And that's pretty sad, although I understand, a deal's a deal, in other words, and they're sticking to what the deal was. The deal was they were going to get paid X amount of money to come back for Star Trek 4. And when the studio wants to slash the budget, well, obviously, some of those prices have to go down. They have to cut some of the cost. Now, I don't really think I've said it before, but I don't really think Star Trek needs a huge budget. Okay, because you've got decent effects enough for television. I mean, you've got even going back as far as Next Generation. They had great effects then for ships and this and that. I mean, they didn't spend an arm and a leg on that budget. And when you consider that now they're still making for CBS All Access, maybe the price is up a little bit, but I don't see where they have to slash the budget so that they couldn't afford Hemsworth and Pine. I think if anything, maybe they should just retool the script and do a different story without Hemsworth if they can't afford both of them. That would be another solution. But it looks like the Kelvin universe is going to be permanently shelved, as the report is. Let's see. S.J. Clarkson, who was to direct Star Trek 4, supposed to be the first female director of a Star Trek film, is leaving the project to work on Game of Thrones prequel, and the studio has decided to shelve the project for the foreseeable future. That does not include what is happening with Quentin Tarantino's rumored Star Trek movie. We don't know what's going to happen with that because supposedly there were two movies in development, one by Quentin Tarantino that he was writing, and the other being this time travel story for Star Trek 4. Like I said, the old Star Trek movies with William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy, they were also not that expensive to make. They basically just used the same set and redressed it, and it's a bottleneck show. Star Trek, you basically just keep it on the bridge and then a couple of other places on the Enterprise, and you're good to go. Anything else is what's you have to figure out in the budget, but it shouldn't be something that they would completely put on the shelf. So hopefully they get this on the ground and running again, because I really enjoyed this Star Trek Kelvin verse or whatever. I like the cast a lot, especially Carl Urban as Bones. He really steals the show and should be given more of a focus in one of these movies. Again, Zachary Quinto, again, great performance there. Very Nimoy-esque. And Chris Pine has proved himself to be a good actor and leader of an action franchise. So again, sad to see that this seems to be something they cannot resolve. All right, so as we continue on here, let's see. We've got one more story. Oh, actually, two more stories. We have, let's see. Okay, we've got Birds of Prey news. Now, Birds of Prey is apparently going to begin shooting very soon. Some people have said it's already begun shooting. I'm not sure about that, but we have some behind the scenes photos of the lovely Margot Robbie. And apparently she's taking skating lessons, roller skating lessons, to prepare herself for Birds of Prey, or The Emancipation of Harley Quinn, I think is the full title of the movie. Let's see. Yeah, that's her suiting up, and she is going to give it everything she's got, I'm sure. A fantastic actress, fantastic looking lady. And yeah, this is promising. Like I said, the only thing I'm afraid of is they're going to SJW this movie up. I know it's a concern. It's a concern. They're very likely not going to give her another sexy costume. They're going to try to make her as dull and physically unappealing as possible. If my wildest fears are confirmed, again, maybe they're going to take a hint from James Wan's Aquaman, and they're going to do justice to the character, and they're going to try to make her look as much like the comic book counterpart as possible. I thought that her outfit in Suicide Squad was appropriate enough. It kind of harkened back a little bit to the video games. I don't know if the animated series costume will look good in live action. See, that's the thing. I'm a big proponent of making it look like it does in the comics, or in this case, I guess the cartoons. But you have to remember that Johnny Torch's rules of life is you never make a attractive woman look ugly or unattractive. And I think you put her in that cat suit with the jingle bells on the ears and everything. I don't think you're going to do Margot Robbie, who is arguably one of the most beautiful women in Hollywood, any favors. So I'm willing for them to go that extra mile and maybe give her a different costume, but something a little more appropriate for Harley Quinn. All right, so let's see. Oh well, I didn't read the. Let me see. The story is in Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor's 2013 Harley Quinn comic series. The character took to wearing a pair of skates for her new job at the Coney Island Roller Derby, and quickly incorporated them into her offensive arsenal. Okay, yeah, all right. I don't know. I don't know anything about it, but Harley Quinn on roller skates sounds cool to me. All right, and last but not least, our final story, still sticking here with Margot Robbie, is according to Variety, WB and Mattel have solidified their partnership with Margot Robbie on board as co-producer via her Lucky Chap Entertainment banner. So she is officially going to be playing Barbie, and that sounds great. I mean, they were trying to get Amy Schumer to play Barbie. I mean, come on, give me an Ever-Loving break. I mean, seriously, Amy Schumer. Have you seen Amy Schumer? Have you seen Margot Robbie? Which one looks to you like Barbie? Again, trying to make the character look like, or trying to make the actress look like the character should be the prime concern. And nobody looks like Barbie more than Margot Robbie. Uh, According to, let's see, I don't know, I guess from WB, this is, I don't know where the statement comes from, but let's see. Playing with Barbie promotes confidence, curiosity, and communication throughout a child's journey to self discovery. A child, not just a girl, mind you, a boy too, can be confident and curious through Barbie. I know, you know, that's something we should remember. Barbie is a curiosity for boys as well. That's why you can't have Amy Schumer being Barbie, where a child or a boy's curiosity will end very quickly. But over the brand's almost 60 years, Barbie has empowered kids to imagine themselves in aspirational roles from a princess to president, said Academy Award nominated actress in a statement. So I guess this is Margot Robbie talking. I'm so honored to take on this role and produce a film that I believe will have a tremendously positive impact on children and audiences worldwide. So that is comforting. Margot Robbie sounds to be saying that this is going to be uplifting for kids. This is going to be a kids film. This is not going to be what I think the original intention was supposed to be under the Schumer project of taking a look at feminism and how bad people are and judging people by how they look and this and that. I don't know. I can't imagine better partners than Warner Brothers and Mattel to bring this film to the big screen. Well, thank you, Margot Robbie, for bringing this film to the big screen. I'm sure we're all appreciative. We're all very appreciative. And hopefully, we'll see some scenes of Barbie in her Malibu mansion at the pool. That's worth a ticket, I think. I personally, that's what I'm hoping for in a Barbie major motion picture. And of course, if casting is open for Ken, I'll throw my hat in the ring. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Why not? Right? Okay, so whoa, what happened there? That about wraps it up for another stellar broadcast of the Johnny Torch Live broadcast. I want to thank my viewer who is actually here in the chat room. He only asked one question, I think, but thank you to Hunter Iggy for watching the majority of the show anyway. I don't think he's here now. Maybe he'll watch the rest of it on a rebroadcast. But anyway, thank you, Hunter Iggy, for joining us. And as I always welcome all comments and questions, make sure you leave a comment below, and I will be happy to address it in the next broadcast. I've got a comment there now, but I would like to get a couple more before I do a mailbag session. It's kind of hard to do a mailbag session with just one comment, but drop me a line below in the chat, or check me out on Twitter if you have any questions there that maybe I'll bring up on a future broadcast. Again, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. Thank you for joining me for another Johnny Torch Live broadcast. Thank you for this Torch News Roundup. For joining us here. And make sure you check out the Aquaman review. And as always, this is Johnny Torch reminding you once again, keep the flame burning brightly, and I'll be with you again real soon.